Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another exciting episode of the First Things First podcast.
As always, we're so excited that you guys have decided to join us for another incredible episode. This is still Bonnie.
And this is still Amanda.
And we're still your hosts. So today's episode is absolutely an incredible episode that we have in store for you guys. We have an incredible lady who has made absolutely amazing strides in the media industry. But obviously, we're not here to talk about her many accomplishments in the industry. We're here to talk about her as a pet parent.
Yes.
So, drum roll, please. Elize. Hi, Elize.
Hello, guys.
How are you?
Fine. Thank you for inviting me.
You look very, very excited.
I've got lots of stories.
We can't wait to hear the stories. But I'm sure, as you're saying, you have so many stories to tell us. People would be very curious. Is it just like dogs, cats, or do you have stories to tell for all type of pets?
Well, you know what? It's not just pets. I love animals, you know, any kind of a sentient being, basically. I mean, I've even learned where I'm living now to have sympathy with snakes. I never thought that I would. And now if anybody wants to kill a snake, I'm just, no, he's scared. He's scared.
He's just a baby.
Let him run away. But my first, I know it, and it was quite weird for my brothers and everybody, but they caught me once at home, and I was sitting on the pavement, and I was crying, and I said, somebody walked over these ants.
Oh my God.
And now they some of them are crippled and some dead, and
Is it like ants?
How could you see that an ant is crippled, though? Did you pick them up?
They were just going, and then somebody walked on top of them. So I've always had this incredible love of animals.
And what was the reaction, like, with you having so much emotion over ants?
It's just, brothers. You say, yeah.
And do you remember how old you were at that
I
time?
think I must have been about 3, 4.
Sure.
Around there. But I grew up with animals. We always had dogs. But they were never my dogs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, like, family dogs.
Yeah. My brother's dogs. My one brother had a dog that he used to put on his bicycle. And the dog would sit with him on the bicycle.
Really?
And I always wanted a cat. And that was my best. I wanted a cat. And my parents wouldn't allow me. And also the dogs used to kill cats when they came onto our yard.
Yes.
And my first real pet was on my one brother's 12th birthday. That morning he had to open the back door. And when he opened the back door, there was this tiny little black and white cat sitting in front of the door.
Yes.
And he opened the door and this cat walked in. The dogs stood aside.
Ooh.
And the cat walked, tiny little cat walked in.
Yes.
And that became my first cat.
Yes. Why cats, though? If you grew up around dogs, like,
yeah.
how
I
did
don't
you grow
know,
the love for cats?
Cats is just so mysterious and so independent. And, they're just different. I mean, dogs, they follow you and they're happy.
Happy-go-lucky, yes.
Yeah. It's not as if I don't like dogs, but cats is always, I wanted to have a cat. So I had, and his name was Enrico Caruso.
So it was male, the black and white?
He was male, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And he died years later. When I was at university, my parents had phoned me. And then they said the cat died. It was very sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Shame,
has he grown older? How old is he?
I think he must have been very old. I can't remember that well but then, I mean, over the years I've had lots of animals. But in my house, the dogs were always my husband or my son's animals.
Yes.
It was there. And then I was there. I'm the mother.
Yes.
You look after, you see that the animals are fine. But the cats were always mine.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was always 1 or 2 cats. And then, but my first dog was a Dalmatian, and his name is Eddie. And I chose him, but I didn't know how to handle dogs.
Yeah, because
You know, you have to be strict with a dog.
Yes.
So with cats, you can't be.
Yeah,
cats
they
are
tell
strict.
you.
rule you.
Yes.
And Eddie and I got Ed. Oh, and Dalmatian puppies are the sweetest.
They are so cute as well.
They're so cute, but they're also very naughty. So I got Ed, and I didn't know that you need to discipline them. So Eddie used to sleep on my neck. Then and Ed became a monster. He was so not monster as in vicious.
Yeah.
Just so
Spoiled.
naughty that I had to take him to a dog psychologist. I know.
Was that your first experience
I
with a
know.
doctor psychologist?
Yes, yes.
What even led to that? Like, how did you come to that?
He was impossible. I couldn't have guests. He would climb on he would climb on them. He would be all over. He wouldn't stop. Couldn't. So the dog psychologist explained to me that I was the problem. Because dogs need to have a leader of the pack. At that stage, we were divorced, my husband and I. So I was the leader in the house, but I was not the leader of the pack. And Eddie, because I wasn't telling him to, behave himself and all that. I handled him like a cat. He took over as the leader of the pack. So when people came in, it was his people. They came to visit him. So it was a whole hell of a story to get Eddie to behave.
Yes. And did it help the psychologist visit?
Well, she taught me. It was more for me. Really. Yeah.
Okay.
She taught me an unbelievable trick. Totally ignore the dog. You obviously see that the dog gets fed and you put water down and all of that. No eye contact, no talking.
Oh, yes.
So you don't have conversations with the dog, you don't scream at the dog, you don't say anything. Because even if you say no, whatever, that's communication and it's attention. And it was very sad to see it. But within a week, he was so subservient. If I would just give him a little bit of attention. And you know what? I've used that with babies subsequently. And
Yes.
it also works.
I'll try that trick. I'll try that
It's a
trick.
parenting trick all around.
Parenting trick, you ignore. No eye contact.
But wasn't it hard for you as well? Like,
So hard.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But it turned, he's the first of my Dalmatians. Then I've had Dalmatians. Bella's now my third Dalmatian. Yeah.
So you have a Dalmatian and a Jack Russell.
And I've
What
got a
would you
Jack
say
Russell.
is like the most contrasting trait between the two? Like that makes them so different?
Well, Bugs he's hyperactive. They are such hyperactive little animals. I would never have had a Jack Russell. I wouldn't have chosen a Jack Russell.
Had you known that this much energy?
No. Bugs chose me.
Oh.
No, you can't believe. When I moved into this house, I came from Johannesburg, and the first week, the furniture and stuff went here. I was just cleaning, and there was this little dog, the neighbor's dog. The neighbor's dog came over, and he was with me the whole time. So at night, I would close everything, and Bugs would just stay with me. And I eventually put water down for him and a blanket and whatever, so that Bugs was just here. And then my move came, and Sophie, at that stage, was my Dalmatian, and Sophie jumped out of the car, and Bugs just decided he's never gonna go back.
I'm
This is
staying.
home. Yes.
And it's my next door neighbors. So eventually I had to go to them and say,
And
listen,
tell
your
them.
dog does not want to go, and we want to take the dogs to the beach, but we need to get rabies injections. And you can't just take your neighbor's dog and give it a rabies injection.
Yes.
And then they said, no, obviously he's not going to come back.
He's chosen where he wants to stay.
They gave me his papers, and Bugsy's never left. Never.
And
So
he's such a happy dog.
He's a happy dog. He's fantastic. He's amazing.
The tail wagging.
right?
Yeah.
So would you say, I know that we usually say that cats choose their people. So would you say that your dogs chose you as well?
Well, I don't know about Bella. I mean, Bella, I bought. All the Dalmatians I bought. The only animals I ever bought. And there's a farm where I always get the Dalmatians from. But Bugs definitely chose. If he didn't choose me, he chose the house or something.
Yeah.
But Bugsy was here. But the cats, cats choose you.
And did any of yours choose you, the ones that you have currently?
All of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got 4 cats.
Okay.
And my best, I mean, my number one, I shouldn't be saying it. I hope the other cats don't.
They'll be coming for you.
Her name is Pawpaw.
Pawpaw.
Yeah. And the reason she's called Pawpaw is because one of her paws are off.
Oh.
It's just, she's just got a little leg. And I was renting an apartment. And there was this one morning, outside the big doors, there was this little cat sitting there with his little paw. And beautiful black and white cat, but gorgeous, gorgeous face, long whiskers, little cat, about 6 months old.
Yes.
With his foot. And I said, no, you just go away. You just go away. Yeah. Because I was then at that stage living in another town, but not at my house, because I was working in another town.
Okay.
And so I've commuted home. So I couldn't have an animal.
Yes.
And that afternoon I came back from work, she was still there. Next morning she was still there. She stayed and stayed till I think the 3rd day or whatever. I said, I put out a little bit of water, and she came in. And she never left.
That seems to be the theme of your life. They come and they never leave.
They never leave.
It's unbelievable. And then Paul, she's beautiful. But there was in the same complex, there was a very handsome ginger male cat.
Yes.
His name was Autumn.
Okay.
And they had a fantastic romance.
Oh.
These 2 cats were which was like a cartoon. They had such a romance. And then, of course, she fell pregnant.
Oh. Consequences.
I thought she was too young to fall pregnant. And she fell pregnant. And then she had 4 kittens. There in that same flat where I was not allowed to have
Oh my God.
pets.
Yes. So you now had 5 cats.
Now I had 5 cats. And then one of they were all girls. And I in the end kept 2 of the cats. One of the cats was stolen by somebody from another flat, because it was also a holiday flat. There was a child, and that child played with the kitten the whole weekend. And when they left
with the
was gone.
kitten.
So I was very sad. But and I looked for that cat for months. But that's obviously what happened.
Yes.
And then the youngest one of Pawpaw's kittens, her name was Bardot, because she was just such a sweet, beautiful little cat. Friends of mine who had a yacht, and they were circumnavigating the world, and they were staying in Richards Bay on a yacht.
Yes.
And they wanted Bardot.
Yes.
Because they just fell in love with Bardot. So she went onto the yacht. They got a tiny little harness.
No.
Tiny little harness. For a chihuahua, that kind of tiny little harness. And Bardot went with Olga and Cor on the yacht.
Yes.
They went around the Cape. They went to Brazil. They went to the Azores.
Whoa,
they went back.
Bardot was living the life.
Yes, and then eventually they stopped in Holland where they have a house, and she's now a big fat cat living in Holland.
Yes, after traveling the world.
And Olga sends me pictures and when it snows, this KZN cat
Yes.
in the snow.
Yes.
So in
Living
any
large.
case, so four had 4 kittens, and 2 of them stayed with me. So that became
Yes. And do you
Yeah.
still have the 2?
one of them died.
Okay.
Nike of about a year ago.
Shame.
Nike
How old was
Striker.
Nike?
Nike was about 8. Nike was I don't know. I think it
Was
was
he
a
sick?
snake. No, I think it was a snake. Something.
Yes.
And but Nike is buried here in the garden, and I put incense there in the mornings.
And do you bury all your pets, or do you have some cremated?
No, I bury them.
Bury all of them.
I don't know if it's always legal.
I'm sure it is. I mean, if it's in your yard, is it? I think
it depends where you stay, though.
It should, but is it a conscious choice for you? Because I know a lot of people would rather cremate, either keep the ashes in a casket or scatter them in the ocean.
Yeah, but that's extremely expensive to cremate an animal.
Yeah. I mean, to have an animal is extremely expensive.
It is, but you somehow don't budget for the cremation.
100%.
No, I like to bury them.
To bury.
Just in a nice deep hole, and it's it's good for the earth.
And do you have like a ceremony for them?
No, I just cry my eyes out.
That is the ceremony.
and I have a few glasses of whiskey.
Yeah.
When you're done.
Next to the gravesite. That should be a film. Should be shot somewhere. And would you say that after losing one particular animal, it takes you a while to want to get another, or are you the type of person to straightly after losing one, getting another one to fill that hole?
No, I don't. I wait.
Oh, okay.
But with subsequently, after Popo and her 2 daughters moved into the house, when I moved here, I had 2 other cats join me. So there's no need for more. I mean, if I wanted to have another animal,
Yes.
if I really get the chance, I'll most probably have another cat.
Oh.
But also remember, her cats choose her, so it's not like a choice for her.
She doesn't go looking for them.
No, they come looking for her.
So there's this other cat that I have. She is very cheeky and she's absolutely fabulous. Her name is Tinker. And Tinks, in Richards Bay, I went into one of those garage shops, and there was a wood pile. You know where they have the charcoal and the wood.
Yes.
And this tiny little cat ran out of the wood pile and in front of me, stood in front of me and went meow, meow. As in sort of, why did you wait so
Yes,
long?
I was waiting for you.
I've been waiting for you to come.
This tiny little flea-ridden stripy cat. And I just couldn't, I took it. And that's Tinker. And then, at some stage, I saw a shadow at night. I see a cat or something. And then at one of the bottom bedrooms, one evening I went in there, and there was this beautiful fluffy cat sitting, and they went out again. And then I put water down and kibbles, a little bit, and slowly but surely she came in. And she's a American raggy or something, but very exotic, beautiful cat. And she was in a state, I thought she was very old, but then she got fatter and she got better, and I realized she wasn't so old. But very exotic cat. Her name is Tessa. And I advertised everywhere and on all the groups in town, everything, because it's not a wild cat.
Must belong
She
to
belongs to
someone.
someone.
Yeah, so I think its owner most probably died,
Shame.
and the kids came to fetch the furniture or what, didn't know about the cat or something. And Tess has moved in, but she's strange. I mean, she's a very antisocial cat, but she's beautiful.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we
Tessa
saw
doesn't
her,
even
yeah.
like pictures as well.
No. Yeah, because we tried to take a picture of her, and she was like, meow.
Yeah, no, she's extremely antisocial. She's on the
Spectrum.
The spectrum.
The psychologists are going to be coming for you.
And also, Elize, I know a lot of people always say dogs and cats don't stay in the same household.
Yeah.
But I think growing up, you've always had cats and dogs in the same household. Do you feel like you're leaning towards more dogs or more cats, or are you feeling both of them in one place?
You know what? That first cat I had as a child, I mean, we couldn't have a cat in that house because the dogs would kill it. So you couldn't have it. Although this little cat walked in and then lived there and somehow tamed the animals, the dogs. But I don't see why cats and dogs can't live together. I mean, Bella, my Dalmatian, and Tinker, that little cat, they were both puppies. I mean, Tinky was very tiny, and Bella was a puppy, and they grew up together, and they're everywhere together.
Oh, that's nice.
In fact, Tinker thinks she's a dog. She follows the dogs.
Yes.
So wherever the dogs go,
She goes.
But I think it's as long as you don't. As long as you're nice to both kinds of animals. You know?
Yeah, hey?
I mean, my animals live very peacefully. They do bully the dogs a bit. The cats bully the dogs.
I mean, the cats are always the bosses
Yeah.
of their human, of whatever is around them.
They
They
take
own
over.
it. Exactly.
Yeah.
They own it. And I know you said Tinky thinks she's a dog as well.
Yeah.
But would you say she has traits that resemble the dog traits? Like, has she taken some of the dog traits? Like, does she, for example, try to bark when the dogs bark or things like that? No.
No, she doesn't. But when I come into the gate, the dogs always run to the gate. She comes to the gate.
Oh, okay.
She does those kind of things with the that the dogs do. It's more behavior. But it's
Yes.
not. No, it's not that. She's also, the other cats would not go near the dog food. She'll go and nibble
Sniff
a little
around.
bit of
Yeah.
the dog food.
I can do this. This is my house.
Was there a point where you ever had to separate them, like when you're feeding them?
Yeah.
Maybe like cats eating dog food or dog eating cat food?
You know what? The feeding here in this house is another story. Because it's 6 animals. And so there's a tray that gets put out with the cats that live downstairs. That's mainly downstairs. They eat downstairs. And there's 2 cats that eat upstairs. And then there's the 2 dogs. And Bella, I feed on that side of the house and Bugsy on that side of the house.
Yes.
Because Bella is a glutton. And she will just, if they were next to each other, she'll
She'll eat
just
both.
push. Yeah. So they have to be separated.
push.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do?
And then the cats all have their own places where they eat. But there's this is where the cats bully. Sometimes when I put down Bugsy's food, and then Bugs doesn't come out, then I know a cat has got him.